Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Yalik, and this is a hit from my 5-man task force. We have been struggling to push higher than our previous high position, so really trying to sort of knuckle down on our operation hits and make sure we're talking them out to make sure we're really using the optimal strategy. So that's kind of what you're seeing there. There's quite a bit of chatter about this base because we have curtain call running and we drew a Manticore, which pretty much unthinkingly we usually write off because we don't have a Manticore specialist. So like you see, Paradox over here has been blocked off. In that case, because it has so few force points, we'd rather get the other bases first because that's really what we're about here. We're going for the force points. I've been doing okay, but then we have the occasional just absolute stinker, and that's frustrating. But we're looking pretty good today, and one reason is that this was nobody here does Manticore the normal way, but this was a really odd Manticore, and I've never actually gotten a Manticore down, and so a wee bit nervous, and also a wee bit nervous because it's a non-traditional hit. It's a little easier to, yeah, that's not going to help us at all. We need to go up here. It was a very, well, it's just a weird Manticore. Look at it. Extremely hot beach. I mean, this is just, that's pretty much Zuka hell right there. And the normal way is to come sit under the core, and there'll be a bunch of rockets up here, and then you throw critters at the proper times to continue distracting those rockets. Shock behind you, all of that. If you know operations, then you know this stuff. Well, this base doesn't have the rockets in back, probably because it has them all up front. So there was very little back here, and I had the idea last night of trying a bullet hit with this. I am glad in hindsight that we didn't end up doing that. So I was the one who unblocked this base because I had an idea for beating it. I had noticed that there was some space back here where you could get Zukas. I mean, this clearing right here, but it's kind of narrow. If you have to be aware of the rocket launchers down here. These over here don't range. You do have to be wary about this shock launcher. So there is a window back there where your Zukas can sit, but it's pretty small, so your margins aren't great. Plus you have the hot beach to worry about. So I had planned this being very, very careful because this account is 5-5. So I planned this hit out to be as minimalistic on the GBE as possible. I use one barrage over here, and I leave this mine because the plan is to, that's a 22 by the way. So the plan is obviously to land right, and we're going to walk up, flare up over here, and then the second flare, I'm going to flare right up about there, and Rick will get out ahead, and I'm counting on her to tank that level 22 mine. This one's a level 20, and I'm using it as more or less my my guide point. I hit it on the way because honestly I didn't, it's a 20, I didn't care. If I could get to this spot back here, the health wasn't really going to matter. It was more all about the position. Ended up being a little hairy, and you're about to see probably the luckiest Manticore ever because, again, I mean, we're improvising here, and that, you know, it's not like you can just look up a hit online and try to copy. It makes it a little bit more challenging. You don't know the walking routes, what they're going to do necessarily. This is not a base, like I said, that we hit much. We're not very familiar with it, so usually we block it off when we see it and go some other direction. So there's that flare to hopefully get Brick to tank that mine, and she does successfully. And now here's the problem is, we had counted out either 14 or 15 smokes depending on which strategy we used, whether it was that bullet hit or this with battle orders. I got to this point and my GBE was really low. This is, I mean, I'm fully boosted, but this is only a 5-5 account, so I have a little less GBE than other guys in this force. You see there. Now look how lucky that is. I peeked out the backside of that smoke. Had to one smoke the kill zone here. I was hoping Brick could possibly tank that, but she didn't. Had to one-smoke the kill zone, but that's alright. It looks like I'm in pretty good. I'm safe with these guys. I'm going to be up away from these guys, but there is going to be some settling. I use remote hack right there on that shock launcher. I had just enough GBE for that and nothing else, because my girls have wandered over here into range of this shock launcher, and it's just taking away whole piles of them. Now look, 1, 2, 3, we'll slow this down. Look at this. There's like one girl that was standing in its range, and it just ate up a huge chunk of my Zookas. It was so sad. So now I'm sitting here, and we did good initial damage. This wasn't the highest health in the world either. Actually, I take it back. It wasn't super low. That's almost 1.7, I gotta say. So I'm sitting here, and I've got this little handful of Zookas left, and nothing can shoot at me. I've also got Brick there, so she's adding some damage too, but nothing can shoot at me except for this one stupid grappler. And I'm just sitting here, biting my nails. I mean, obviously you can tell I'll get it down, but just like, you can see one Zooka at a time. I think we've got 5 there, and then the grappler took one more, so we finished this with 4 Zookas left. And we got that, and that was, I mean, it was worth a good amount of force points, which is why, why we were trying in the first place. The idea really would have been to, if I could have gotten both of the shock launchers handled somehow, that would have been great. I had no GBE for anything, not even a medkit after the shock launchers, not even a medkit, nothing, just too much smoking with that hot beach. Also, shouldn't have been me because I'm the 5.5, but perhaps shouldn't have been me also because I'm not good at 2 smoke landings, and I probably, I lost the delay on the walk anyway. I went with the extra smoke on the beach because I wanted to try to keep the delay so that if there was a peak or something over here, if the troops took a funny route, I'd have a little bit of extra tolerance built into the attack. But as it turned out, I lost the delay anyway. I don't know if you noticed that pretty early on, and it didn't end up mattering because I didn't peak. The walk ended up being fairly simple, so probably didn't help myself out there, and we could have made that a whole lot prettier, and that would have been a big sexy Manticore kill. But while we're here, we might as well throw in a freebie video. Here's Sven on Machina. I think he went with the battle orders. This was a pretty vanilla Machina, but I mean the health is decent. We're getting over 1.2, a little over. Again, with the 3 smokes on the beach, for the same reason, you don't want to lose the delay. Machina is just so unforgiving. This one's not too bad. It doesn't have all the extra mines and stuff over here that you frequently get, and that eats up GBE, which makes it hard for a 5.5 to do. Are you sensing a trend here? Does he pull off the really... Oh no, he went the safe way up top. He went with the 5th shock. You could do this with 4 shocks, but this shock up here is really pretty hard to nail down. So, but that was a pretty clean Machina. A lot of troops left there. As opposed to my hit. Let's see, he lost 17 and I was left with 4 out of 100. Yeah. So, anyway, so we'll get good force points today. Happy with that, and we're continuing to try. I mean, it's not terrible. I think we were down into the 50s today. We got up to 37. We were up previously as high as 33 with the DTs, but we've had trouble pushing through that. So we're trying to. We'd been doing choke point for a while. We switched to curtain call, and we've run dead end a couple of times when possible, with mixed results, as you can see. But doing our thing, staying alive. Hope you guys are well. I'll catch you later. Take care.